opinions of their own, are pertinacious through pleasure and pain. For they rejoice when they are victorious, if they are not induced to change their opinion ; and they are grieved when their opinions, as if they were decrees, are without efficacy. Hence, they resemble the incontinent more than the continent man. But there are certain persons who do not persist in their opinions, yet not through incontinence, such as Neoptolemus in the Philoctetes of Sophocles, since he did not persist in his opinion, yet not on account of pleasure, but on account of the beautiful in conduct. For to him it was beautiful to speak the truth, though he was persuaded by Ulysses to lie. For not every one who does any thing on account of pleasure is intemperate, or a bad, or an incontinent man ; but he is intemperate who does it on account of base pleasure. Since, however, there is a character of such a kind as to be delighted less than is proper with corporeal pleasures, and not to abide in the decisions of reason, the continent man is a medium between this character and the incontinent man. For the incontinent man, indeed, does not abide in the decisions of reason, because he is delighted with corporeal pleasures more than is proper ; but this man, because he is delighted with them less than is proper. The continent man, however, abides in the decision of reason, and is not changed through any thing else. It is also necessary, if continence is a good thing, that both the contrary habits should be bad, as it appears that they are. Because, however, one of these characters, viz. The man who is delighted less than is proper with corporeal pleasures, exists but among a few men, and is rarely seen. Hence, as temperance appears to be contrary to intemperance alone, thus also continence to incontinence. But since many things are denominated from similitude, the continence also of the temperate man follows according to similitude. For both the continent and the temperate man do nothing contrary to reason, through the influence of corporeal pleasures. But the one indeed, viz. The continent man, possesses, but the other does not possess depraved desires. And the one indeed is a man of such a description, as not to be delighted contrary to reason, but the other is delighted, indeed, yet is not led by this delight. The incontinent and the intemperate man also resemble each other, though, indeed, they are different characters. Both, however, pursue corporeal delights ; but the latter, indeed, thinking that it is proper, and the other not thinking that it is proper, to pursue them. CHAPTER 10. Nor is it possible that the same person can at one and the same time be prudent and incontinent. For it has been shown by us that a prudent man is at the same time a man of worthy manners. Again, a man is not only prudent from knowing what ought to be done, but also from acting properly. But the incontinent man does not act properly. Nothing, however, prevents the incontinent man from being skilful. Hence, also, sometimes certain persons appear to be prudent, but incontinent, because skilfulness differs from prudence, in the way we have before explained. And these, so far as pertains to reason, indeed, are near to each other, but they differ according to deliberate choice. Neither, therefore, does the incontinent man possess reason, as one who knows and contemplates, but as one who is asleep, or intoxicated. And he acts, indeed, voluntarily ; for after a certain manner he acts knowing both what he does, and for the sake of what he acts as he does. But he is not depraved ; for his deliberate choice is good, so that he is half depraved, and not unjust, because he is not insidious. For one incontinent man, indeed, i.e. the man who is incontinent from debility, does not persist in what he has deliberated. And he who is of a melancholy temperament, i.e. the man who is precipitately incontinent, is not, in short, disposed to deliberate. The incontinent man, therefore, resembles a city, which decrees, indeed, every thing that is proper, and has good laws, but uses none of them. As Anaxandrides revilingly said, The state consults, but its own laws neglects. But the bad man resembles a city, which uses indeed laws, but uses bad laws. Incontinence, however, and continence are conversant with that which exceeds the habit of the multitude. For the continent man persists more, but the incontinent man less, than the multitude are able to do, in the decisions of reason. The incontinence, however, of the melancholy is more easily cured, than the incontinence of those who deliberate, indeed, but do not persist in doing what they have deliberated to do. Those also who are incontinent from custom may be more easily cured than those who are naturally so. For it is more easy to change custom than nature. For on this very account it is difficult to change custom, viz. Because it resembles nature. As Evenus also says, By long attention custom is produced, and is at length as nature to mankind. We have shown, therefore, what continence and incontinence, and also what endurance and effeminacy are, and how these habits subsist with reference to each other. CHAPTER 11. The discussion, however, of pleasure and pain pertains to him who philosophizes about the political science. For he is the architect, as it were, of the end, looking to which we say that one thing is evil, but another is simply good. Again, it is likewise necessary that we should make these the objects of consideration. For we admit that ethical virtue and vice are conversant with pleasures and pains, and most men assert that felicity is accompanied with pleasure. Hence, also, they denominate the blessed man from especially rejoicing. To some, therefore, no pleasure appears to be good, neither essentially, nor from accident, for good and pleasure are not the same thing. But to others, some pleasures appear to be good, but many of them to be bad. Others again, in the third place, assert that though all pleasures were good, yet at the same time that which is most excellent cannot be pleasure. In short, therefore, they say, pleasure is not good, because all pleasure is a generation tending to a sensible nature, as to its end, but no generation is allied to ends, as no act of building a house, i.e. the energy of building, is allied to the house. Again, the temperate man avoids pleasures. Farther still, the prudent man pursues a freedom from pain, and not the delectable. To which may be added, that pleasures are an impediment to the energy of prudence, and this in proportion to the delight which they afford, as is the case with venereal pleasures. For no one, when engaged in this pleasure, can intellectually perceive anything. Again, pleasure is not the offspring of art, though every thing which is good is the work of art. Farther still, children and brutes pursue pleasures. But that all pleasures are not worthy is indicated by this, that some are base and disgraceful and pernicious. For some pleasures produce disease. It is also evident that pleasure is not the best of things, because it is not an end, but generation. Such, therefore, nearly are the assertions respecting pleasure. CHAPTER 12. That it does not happen, however, from these arguments, that pleasure is neither good, nor the best of things, is evident from the following considerations. In the first place, indeed, because good is predicated in a twofold respect. For one kind of good is simply and absolutely good, but another is good to a certain person. And natures and habits receive the same division, so that this will also be the case with motions and generations. With respect to these pleasures likewise, which appear to be bad, some indeed are simply bad, but are not bad to a certain person, but to him are eligible. And some are not pleasures to this person, except once and for a short time, but they are not eligible to him. And some are not pleasures, but only appear to be so, viz. Those which are attended with pain, and are for the sake of a remedy, such as those of the sick. Again, since of good, one kind is energy, but another is habit, those pleasures which restore their possessor to his natural habit are delectable. In desires, however, there is the energy of an indigent and imperfect habit and nature. There are also pleasures which are unaccompanied with pain and desire.